All right, ready to do this?
I think so.
All right, well, I guess we're just going to take off right here. So anyone that's listening, this is our third podcast. We got Stephanie Blaske on the podcast today. I stayed up pretty late last night doing a podcast with Barely Covered and stayed up all night editing to try to get it uploaded and didn't get uploaded. So I'm a little tired, but we got some coffee, so I think we'll make it through this.
I think we will.
So I want to, for anybody that's listening that doesn't know you, I know you very well because you're my banker. I've been with you since 18. Yep. I'm pretty sure I got my first loan through you.
Yep.
And then, so you were at Citizens Bank for how many years?
21 years.
21 years. And then now you switched over to Jefferson Bank.
Jefferson
Bank.
Yeah, well, they're affiliated with Central Bank, but Jefferson Bank is who is coming to Owensville.
Cool. And when you say they're coming to Owensville, are they getting like an office or are they getting a whole building?
So what we decided is
the whole thing. The thing swivels up and down, left and right. You can do whatever you want with it.
Better?
That's probably better.
Think so?
Yeah.
Okay. So what they're doing is they have leased a building in Owensville, and they are calling it a loan production office. So basically, any type of loan that you want, tractor loan, car loans, real estate, and I like to joke, anything with dirt. So that could be your commercial buildings, that could be construction, so anything that you...
New construction, redoing a house.
Anything you want. So basically, if you can dream it, we can probably help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not really a full-fledged transactional bank, which means, there's not going to be tellers there.
Yeah.
But what they have thought of is that they could put in an ITM, which is like an ATM, but you could have connection to a customer service person if needed. So that's really going to help make that a well-rounded. So if you need cash in the community, you can use your debit card and come through the ATM and get that.
What about deposits?
Well, the deposits, we thought that you could also get an ATM that accepts deposits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So that's coming down the line. So we're just now in the beginning stages of getting the building painted. It's been a minute. So.
Yeah, you guys, this is new.
New.
Like
yeah.
Anyone that's going to be listening to this podcast probably has no clue Owensville's getting a new bank.
I know.
So you guys heard it here first.
Right
That's
here.
what I'm saying.
Right here, we did it. And it's so great. Everybody asks me, well, why did you leave? What happened? What changed? And, Citizens is a great bank, but this bank is better because you have so many more what we call bells and whistles that, there are programs for heroes, which are the firefighters and the police department. We never had that before. Professionals. So a doctor coming to town or a dentist, a chiropractor. There's so many products that we can offer you. And I think that's just going to be a big win for the community.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was really happy.
Right. And that was something with Citizens Bank, not the, I'll bank with them forever probably. And if I ever really need a loan, I would still go to them if something ever happened. But that was a problem whenever you were working there. And I was coming to you saying, hey, I need money for whatever it was. A lot of times it was a little bit of a struggle because I don't know, there was kind of some things that would stop us from going, whatever they were. And so that's your whole reasoning for wanting to go to Jefferson Bank, to be able to open you up for a little more freedom to be able to help everybody else out. Because when me or anyone came to you, it's not that you didn't want to help them. It was that you physically couldn't. Right. Your hands were kind of tied on it.
You didn't have the products or that special need.
Yeah.
Couldn't help it.
Right.
But now we have 4,000 people are employed. We have locations across the United States, except for 3, and it's northeastern, New York and so forth. But 4,000 people who can help me to get what you need to make your career, first home.
Yeah. First car, whatever.
Yeah.
That's where I started at it.
So I like too that. So if you're looking even for a second home,
Yeah.
Florida, Colorado, wherever, I can still help you there. Like
because they have locations down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was another problem with Citizens Bank is that they were in New Haven, Washington, Gerald. That's it?
Pacific.
Oh, and they were in Pacific too. See, I didn't even know that. But yeah, they were so limited to where you're at. Even me, like just making deposits, it kind of sucked having to try to, because I live or work over at Owensville, had to drive all the way to Gerald, which isn't that far, but it was still inconvenient. Whereas, like Jefferson Bank or something else, so there's a lot more locations. Like you said, you guys have locations all the way down in Florida.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know, it's great.
Even trying to set my bank account, like routing, like connect it with something. I don't remember what I was setting it up with the other day, but I was trying to find Citizens Bank, and you just can't find it. It's just like not out there because it's so small, and like there is some benefits to a smaller bank, but
that's the thing with us too. You still have me, or you have a hometown person going to be sitting in that building who can reach out to those other 4,000 people and get some help.
Yes.
We can open accounts there. We can have somebody come in.
Now, is it just you there, or is it going to be someone else?
At the moment, it's just me.
Yeah. Can we say where the building's going to be at?
Sure.
Where's it going to be at?
I hope so. No, we're coming. It's leased, so it's official. We are going into the old ice cream parlor, which is right there by the Owensville ambulance shed, or right across the street from the admin building, the school admin.
Oh, you're talking about, yes. What was that place called?
The custard shop, or the patio.
It was it called the patio?
I think so.
Yes, that's right.
Our signs are coming. Our signs are.
You guys are going in that building.
Yeah.
You guys leased
We're
it.
leasing it for now. So if we can get enough traction here and grow it like we think it's gonna grow, hopefully they will need to buy that building, because we just can't. It's better for us to own than to lease it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but so that's why everything, anything you need to come through me, whether it's account related, any type of loan, business loan.
Sure. Right. Now, speaking of loans.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because that's a crazy. It's just a crazy time right now because everybody's used to these 3% interest rates, and I remember it was crazy because, and this is why you need anyone that's listening. This is why you need like a loan officer that like that you have like some type of like interpersonal connection with, not just like someone you just randomly walk in, because like I remember whenever I had first bought this house we're in right now, I think the interest rates were like 5%, maybe somewhere above, maybe a little bit low. I don't know, somewhere up there. And I remember the interest rates back in 2020, I guess it was like mid 2020, right before COVID happened. The interest rates started to change. And I remember I think it was you, had sent me a message, or somehow we got to talking, and you're like, yeah, Ryan, right now is the time to refinance. Mm-hmm. And it was you that kind of like encouraged me and said like, we can refinance your house at 3% because it's down right now. And you're like, we haven't seen 3% in a very long time. And you're like, refinance it now. Your payment's going to go down. You could even get cash back and refinance it, and your payment's still going to be the exact same. And it was like you saying, hey, we need to do this. We need to make this happen. Right. And I think people underestimate that.
I was concerned that everybody, the younger generation, does everything over the phone. I hate that they're losing that personal connection to a banker. And so anybody who I have helped or try to help or have a relationship with, is I give them my phone number and I say it's 24/7. I'm your friend. You've got me you've got me forever. So I really feel like that is a key thing. You were saying how you need a personal banker. You need someone who is looking out for you, where, those other companies we're not going to mention, they're just apps. You apply online. You don't really even know who you have. You don't have any background. You don't have any history with them. Mm-hmm. But I feel like when I'm helping you, you've got me. You've got me 24/7. You
Yeah,
have
if
my
you
number.
have a real problem, when a real problem comes up, or you actually need something, like you need something, you need to make it happen, and you don't have somebody that you can go to, and you have to go to some random person, it's like going in, and you're even if you go in, you're gonna have a better chance of actually getting the process started. But yeah, if you're trying to do it over an app or something like that, you might as well just fill out this application. They're gonna get back to you in however many days they feel necessary. It's going to be this long, drawn out process. And then they're probably still going to want you to call or come in anyway and do something. And it's just, it's, I don't even know why they make that an option.
And like, I just got a call. So, another customer, and I never want to leave them hanging. So
send them a message.
I will reply and say, hey, hold on. I'm doing a promo here for my great new family.
Let them know.
I did. I let them know. Cool. But I care, and that's the other thing. And I don't think that you find anybody who truly cares after the fact. I know a lot of people are there to help you through the process, and then you kind of go your separate ways and don't think about them. But I do. I think when I'm really invested in my people. And I feel like, they've become friends and family. And that's why I feel like, I love the community. I've been in it forever. And I want to see people succeed,
Right.
So.
Yeah. No, and that's huge too. And we were talking about that on the podcast with Morgan and Chase about how they're passionate about what they're doing too. And they actually care about it, and like that's why it's so important to go to them to buy real estate. It's just as important to go to you to get your loan, so you get treated right all the way through the process. Right. And like if someone comes to you for the first time, you're gonna remember them the next time they come in, and like even if they just call you and they're like, hey, I want to buy this, can we make this happen? It's just that ease factor. Yeah. Like, hey, I know somebody in the bank. Or like I've had a million times I just had a question. I just call you or text you and ask you something like that. And that's anytime I'm looking for like any type of team member. For me, like I consider you a team member. For just where I'm going in my life, it's so helpful to have someone like that.
And I want you to succeed. I mean, and I mean that truly. Yeah. I think you've achieved so much.
Yeah. Well, like. You definitely been a huge support for me, but I think you're like that for anyone.
Yeah.
Like I mean, how many times? I don't know how many people I've sent you away, and now they just come to you all the time, and it actually ended up becoming like not so much a problem. I mean, it was definitely a good thing, but it's when everybody starts to come to you, and then when last year when interest rates are super low, so money's cheap, and everybody's buying everything, you got to be so busy that. Like I'm not as busy as everybody else is. So it's like, there was times I went to you and you had so much going on. It was hard for me even to, just to get in and get my loan process and everything like that, especially because you're still at Citizens Bank. So they were a little bit slower about the process. And I'm like, oh man,
Now you don't have to worry about all those things. So
now we got
super pumped. And now the interest, and that kind of is a segue to the interest rates. So yeah, they've gone up a little bit. I think the whole world knows there's some craziness going on.
I don't think people are seeing it yet. Like I think some people are seeing it, but some people are ignoring it.
It could be.
You know what I'm saying? Because we talked about the house that I just bought and how like if it was 6 months ago, it would have been a bidding war at what we listed it at. And because everybody was getting more than they listed the house for, everything like that. And we put it for a decent price for what the market was. But interest rates are 6% now. And someone that's buying houses, they might not know. Like if you're not in like the bank industry or real estate industry, you might not pay attention to interest rates and things like that. And so everybody outside of those fields that aren't paying attention, say they're just looking for their first house, and they know, everybody knows the market's up, because that's anybody that's ever looked at a house in the past year and a half, everybody's like, oh, market's so high, so high. And everybody just said it. They don't even have to know anything about real estate to know it's through the roof. Yeah. And so, everybody's like kind of like, well, this is the new adjusted price. But then they go to the bank and the bank explains, hey, interest rates are 3%. So really your payment levels out. You're paying more money, but money's cheap. So your payment's going to be the exact same as if it was the other way around at 6% and half the price. But now we're in this weird window where interest rates have gone up to, are they 6% now?
Prime is 5.5. So
prime.
There's
and what
a lot
is
of
prime.
Prime is the Fed rate that basically it costs for the bank to borrow money. So prime rate, everything's based off the prime rate. So, but each rate is kind of individualized, and that means like credit, relationship with the bank. I mean, there's a lot of things that factor into rates.
So
I don't want to really plug those rates because they're changing all the time, and anything I say right now could be totally different. 30 seconds.
Well, and anyone that's listening to this podcast, they're just going to have to understand, they might listen to it a year from now, and who knows where it could be at.
Right. And I hope down.
I
really hope they're lower because there's still a lot of, people that we need to get into homes, and people are, construction needs to start up again. I know I've seen a couple new homes started, which is kind of nice.
I heard lumber's going down.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
does that
good.
have to do with interest rates changing?
Probably in some way it does. Everything's kind of always connected, but it's probably those people purchasing the lumber, had to pay a premium for it, and they had to pass that on to the customer. So, I heard they were not holding any type of quotes for more than, a very short time.
Yeah,
it used to be until you started, or, a decent time, like 3 to 6 months or something, but they don't hold a quote hardly at all.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah, so,
which is just so crazy to think about because you don't know who is doing the changing. Because to me that's just like you give me a quote and they're like, oh, it's got a 1 month start date warranty or whatever you want to call it. Like it's almost like so hard unless you have the funds already there. Like a month is going to go by super, super quick. Right. I mean, a month is nothing, absolutely nothing. And so, who's doing the changing? Is it the construction company just like, oh, we're going to tack on an extra $1,000, or is it really the market changing? You never really know. But in my mind, if I was going to be building something, that's the kind of stuff I would be thinking because maybe the guy's just having a bad month and hey, we need to make up for it. Because 3 other guys canceled, so now
you're up.
Here's 15 extra percent you got to pay on the bill, and how can you disprove it?
Yeah,
you almost can't.
Right, I know.
You almost can't.
It's a tough thing, but hopefully things will start to settle down.
Well, and that's what I was talking about when we were kind of just getting into this. That 6 months ago, that house I was selling would have been like a bidding war, and then this time I listed it and couldn't get any bites on it. We dropped the price a little bit. Finally got an offer on it, and like they said they were good for the funds, everything like that. Obviously, it was contingent upon financing, and then all of a sudden they couldn't get financing, and I'm almost willing to bet that this person really, really wanted a house. They've been watching for a house. House finally came up at a decent price from what it was in the up market, but now that interest rates are higher, he went in and figure out what his payment was going to be, and he's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Or maybe his banker, if he had a good banker, maybe his banker's like, hey, your payment's going to be this much higher now because interest rates are going up. And so maybe I think that's what ended up happening with it. And so we ended up having it contingent and then they backed out, and then we had to put it back on the market. And that's like the hardest thing to do because people are like, why is this saying sell and then go back on the market? And we did finally get a contract on it, and we're supposed to close on it, but it wasn't, it wasn't nothing like everybody else. I heard so many people say, yeah, we listed our house for this, and it was a bidding war up. Everybody we got 20% more than the house is worth, which is just absolutely crazy to think about. But I guess that's just a supply and demand thing where everybody was looking for a house when interest rates were low. Right. But it just didn't make sense to me.
It was crazy time. I don't think that's, I mean, it happened. We lived through it, but I feel like we're gonna
pay for it.
I don't know. Hopefully not. But yeah, definitely crazy times. Hard to kind of figure out all the whys to all the questions. So.
Sure. Yeah, because and the thing that everybody was like bragging on was that the 3% interest rate, or some got even lower. And I'm just talking like basic, a conventional loan. You know, we're not talking USDA or FHA. Those are their own things on their own.
And I do those too.
Yeah,
I get to do
literally
all of
not a
those.
loan that you can't do.
Absolutely. Yep.
Like if someone needs some money, you can do it.
Yep.
Can we talk about how much you get? Like you're approved. Like aren't you approved to a certain amount? Can we talk about that? Or you not want to say that? It's fine if you don't want to say it.
No, I think we could. We'll just kind of keep it general.
Yeah.
Because everything, you don't want to say everybody can be approved for X because, again, it's individualized to that person's whole package. So, again, like some of the professional loans, I mean, if those sometimes are in the millions. So you can be approved for, you know, the criteria. But yeah, we have people who are doing $1 million loans, $2 million loans.
What I'm saying though is, aren't you basically pre-approved? Like there's two, like say it's a $5 million loan. You can't just be like, yeah, that's good, stamp it, and then send it out the door.
So,
because I'd be in there every single day asking for some money.
So what happens then is it would go to kind of like a upper management, upper board approval. There are some limits, you know, but for your conventional type loans, and then you get into jumbo loans. So there's a whole lot. I mean, so we're really talking a lot of things are need to happen, but you know, $2 million is what our processors are able to kind of look at and approve, barring all the things are right. So yeah, I mean the limits, it's great. I mean we have such larger limits than before.
Yeah. Now does like the bank, if they're like, do they tell you like if you're good, like you can approve anything without even running it through them up to like a certain amount? Do they do anything like that?
Because we have, again, 4,000 people that are helping you. I help you with the application. I get it through the process, and then the underwriters take a look at it. So really, it's the underwriters who are going to come back to me and to say, you know, we need to update some information, and then they're the ones giving the approval.
Yeah, let's talk about the loan process.
Okay.
Because that was something growing up that I never understood. So when you go in, you fill out an application. You know, it's just basically everything you got, how much money you make, who you are, everything like that. So from there, it goes straight to the underwriter.
Well, the lenders is what I am, mortgage loan originator. We take it, we pull credit. Everything kind of starts with the application.
You pull the credit first. Make sure that people can get approved.
And everybody's like, well, that doesn't represent me. And I'm like, yeah, I get that because everybody goes through some tough times in life, you know, or check gets lost in the mail or something happens where it maybe dings your credit.
It's easy to make it. I remember one time I had a loan and it was set up on auto payments. And the auto payment was supposed to come out on a holiday, but the bank was closed on the holiday. So it ran the next business day. And because it did that, it considered me having a late payment and I got hurt on my credit. And I remember going to get a loan and they're like, well, you got a nick on your credit or something. And I was like, when? I was like, I've never missed a payment. Everything's on auto payment.
Right.
And they're like, well, it looks like it ended up falling on a holiday. And I was like, can't you ignore that then? Like, why is this why is it
my fault?
Yeah.
I did this. Yeah.
So like things like that do happen.
They do. They happen to the best of everybody. So we have programs too that you can look at where it kind of works with your credit. So if you have a lower score or maybe lower than what you need for loan approval, there's programs that we can use that we submit to, and then they
a credit forgiveness program.
Well, it's called I guess I can say it, Lending Hand. It's one of many programs that we can submit saying here's a borrower. You know, they might have funds available to kind of how best could we use a couple of dollars of funds here and there to make a better score. And they do come back with, hey, you know, if you did this or paid this off or, you know, paid this down, it would help their score. And I've used that before, and it really has helped a lot of people. So it's not a quick fix. It's a process.
I have sent some people in for that process.
And so it just takes time. I mean, time is good. Just keep up with your payments, keep them on time, not reporting late. And we can get there. We can definitely get to the end result of getting you in the house.
And it's actually, does every country do credit scores? Or is that just a United States thing?
That's a great question. I'm not sure.
Because it's so interesting how you have a score on your financial, whatever. What do you call it?
Well, it just reflects your financial health.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
But what it is just shows a bank or an institution that, how do you manage your
it makes sense
liabilities,
and it's a hell of an idea. It's just crazy to me that they put this score on you. And that if you mess his score up, everybody basically is not that they're going to look away, but it's a way of them basically appraising you based off of your financial health.
Right.
And it's something it's so crazy too, because most people don't have much financial education. There was no financial education in school. They have, was it home ec or what is that class?
Oh yeah, home ec.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, teach you how to cook.
What's the one that they teach you how to write a check? Do you remember what that one was called? Is that home ec? No, that's not home ec.
Ec's cooking. So
it
should have been in a business class, but
there's not a business class in high school. I think there's only this one class, and I don't even remember what it's called. But you don't learn much. You learn how to fill out a check. And that's it, and so then
they don't even use checks anymore hardly. It's all debit cards.
Yeah, I mean, I do as a business owner. I write a lot of checks, and it's a lot of checks.
So
actually.
That makes me think of, when I was trying to prepare mentally for this. Like what is it you want to know? What does the public want to know? I would love to teach a class. We'd love to have people come to our new building. We have a great patio. We could put on some type of lunch and learn, or we could come to your gym and say, okay, we're going to take 20 minutes and tell you anything you want to know about a loan.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would like your viewers to get back to you and to me to say, tell me how we can help you. I mean, we need the voice of where do we need to go? I'm your banker. Use me in any way that you want, because I want
to help.
We want to be there. We want to be your first thought.
Yes.
And we want that to be. So what is the question? So what do you want to know? Because we'll be glad to help you.
I think a lot of people, because they didn't have the financial education growing up, that they are kind of scared or nervous or maybe intimidated or just confused about the whole process. They don't even know how to go about it. Because I know for sure I didn't.
Yeah.
I had no financial education. And they say, you learn about money at home at the dinner table. Somebody has to already know it to be able to pass on the education, because that's the only way you get it. And I do agree with that, but I don't agree that that's how it should be forever. And I think that, that's something that I push on people that come into the gym. I send every month I have a post that I post to my fitness parlor page for the gym. And it's just a post saying, my number one concern is comfort and safety. And I share that every single month, because I want people to know that if you're coming into my gym, I want to do everything I can to make you feel comfortable. Like whether woman, guy, kid, older gentleman, woman, whatever, elderly, whatever. I want you to know that I'm there to help you, and that I'll build your workout plans. I'll work out with you. I'll show the equipment to you. If you ever even have the slightest problem, I want to know so I can handle it. I want to nip it in the butt right away, because in Owensville, where my gym's at, it's a small community, and I just want everybody to feel really, really comfortable. It's all we have, but also the gym and the banking system for a lot of people are like, they're almost intimidated. They just don't know a lot about it. There's not a lot of education in it. And so, I think people are intimidated. And so that's why I try to make them feel comfortable. And that's where this situation is very similar, is that, you want them to come in and talk to you, and they don't have to get a loan to you. They don't, if you just have a question and then you just want to know it, call Stephanie or stop in and talk to her.
Right.
And just ask her, if you're thinking about buying your first house, or you're thinking about buying your first car and you're 18 years old.
Right.
And you're like, well, I don't have any money. I don't have anything to put on collateral.
How do I do this?
Yeah, how do I do this? Stop it and talk to Stephanie. And because at 18, that's exactly what I did. I had no money. I had nothing. And we went in and we found a way to pull some strings and to be able to get me my first loan on a truck. And I was working on some petty job, and just enough to afford my first loan was $2,000. And I bought a little 2-wheel drive pickup truck, and I've just kept on going from there. Actually, I guess I really had a really supportive mom at the time, because my mom was like, let's just go get you a loan. Right. And because they didn't have the money to help me out. So they're like, get a loan, make the payment. That's what people do. And luckily I had a good parent that did that. And not everybody has parents like that, but you don't need a parent to do that.
No.
You just
you need to know there's a place to go, and that's Jefferson Bank in Owensville.
That's Stephanie Blaske.
That's it.
That's Stephanie Blaske.
And you brought up a really good point just a second ago. People are afraid, or maybe intimidated, or confused. They don't know, about physical health, and then what I'd like to say is financial health. Those two things are huge in your life, because your fitness is great. I mean, that keeps you healthy. It keeps you moving, definitely needed. But so is financial health. And people, you don't believe how much stress somebody can create when they don't know how to balance the checkbook. They don't know that spending, eating at McDonald's every day is not good.
Stretching your expenditures way too far out. Living beyond your means. And everybody knows living beyond your means is not the right way to do it. But sometimes when they come in to get a loan, they don't realize when they're buying that side-by-side or that boat or that new car that they're pushing themselves over the limit. And that's where you come in because they might actually be able to get approved for it, but you might be able to sit down and look at their numbers and stuff. And at least with me, you're willing to tell me, yeah, you can afford this, but maybe you should think about it before you buy it, because you're going to put yourself right there at that debt to income level. Yep. And if anything goes wrong, Ryan, what I'm thinking about buying a car or maybe buying a new house, make sure that, if that car, if the tire or if the motor blows up or if something bad happens. Reserves.
What kind of reserves do you have to either fix it? Because the payments don't stop even if the car does, know. So how do you get through those moments? And that's where talking to somebody, walking through, or having these lunch and learns, or just dropping by, that's where we could just have those healthy conversations to make sure that everybody knows kind of how the banking system works and how how you should manage your money.
Go do it.
Yeah. Money management is huge, saving back for those rainy days or those tires that will need to be replaced eventually.
Those unforeseen accidents, whatever.
Absolutely.
Stuff you don't plan out. And those always happen.
Guaranteed.
Always happen.
Yes.
I mean, there's no way around it. And they happen at the worst times too. Yeah. They never happen when you just got that bonus check around Christmas time. Or, whatever. It happens whenever just you ended up going out and you spent too much money on something else, and then that thing blows up. And then that
that's
thing
how
breaks
it always
down.
works.
Yeah. And it puts you in a pinch.
Yeah. And I feel like, a lot of people who just get those tax return money or those bonuses, there's lots of things you could do with that money besides blow it on something else. I mean, the way you could benefit yourself by reducing your principal at the bank, lowering, that loan payment, paying that other loan off. So there's a lot of good ways to use that money, and then a lot of not so good ways to use it. So that's what we're here for. That's kind of what my hope was today, is what can I do? What more can I do? I'm here. I'm ready. You have my number. You're gonna have a place to go. What do you want to know? Because I will be happy to hold a program. And if I don't know it, we can bring people in. I know that that's a real thing. We have, attorneys, we have financial assistant people, we have all types of people who can come in, not just me. If it's beyond my scope, I'm going to still help you. I'm going to get those people to you at our location. So just please.
What would a financial attorney be needed for?
Well,
what would like some instances that would require some stuff like that to come in?
If you would be money management, if you would need anybody to try to, like an advisor, a financial advisor, they could come in.
So you guys have actual financial advisors?
Oh, yes.
That people can go to?
Mm-hmm. Look us up online. So it's jeffersonbank.com. Great. And then just see all the products we have. It's great. I mean, every loan product that's out there, I had brought a paper, but you can't see it here. But just go online.
If you gave it to me, I could get a copy and I could throw it up on the screen probably.
Yeah, I can do that.
If I remember it when I'm editing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just go through the edit so fast that I don't remember.
But there's so many. And that's the thing. That's what I want to do.
I'll definitely put a link down in like the description so everybody can just click the link, go straight to Jefferson Bank if they really want to check it out.
You could do my follow me too on Facebook, sharing it and following.
Mm-hmm.
The likes are good, but we want people to follow. That way you can see all the new updated information as it comes out. And that's really cool. I wasn't a big Facebook person. You and a couple others were my first Facebook friends. So, but yeah, they.
So does that mean you're gonna be more active on there, or?
Oh, the bank's gonna have. They have things to help us out. Mm-hmm. So, which is great because I'm still old school. I like to talk to you face to face, or I'll text you. That's my media. But
that's honestly the better way to do it, anyway.
Yeah.
Like just come in face to face, or, I mean, social media is okay, but I mean it doesn't replace like this type of conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It just doesn't.
It doesn't build the relationships.
No, you don't get to know somebody talking to them over the internet or nothing like that. Like talking to them, like if you send them a message on Facebook Messenger, you have no clue. You have no interpersonal connection.
Right.
Like when you go and sit down and tell this person like, hey, this is why I need this money for whatever reason, and you guys start this process, like there's a connection there between you two that is actually building a relationship that's building there, which is really important.
I think what would be a whole lot of fun is to have, where we're going has those really cool patios out in the front, and I'd like to think of a really neat thing that the community would want to have there, little event. I mean, we could do, everybody's like, oh, the ice cream shop, you guys gonna have ice cream? I'm like, we could, but we could have other things. So, be thinking of creative ideas for me that would help everybody.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something. Yeah, surely there's something we can come up with. I had talked about it and with Barely Covered be on last night, and my 1 year for the gym was July 1st, and so I planned that a week ahead of time, and all I did was ended up just having a pull up contest. I had men's and women's pull up contest. Whoever did the most got $100. Nice. And then everybody else I gave like wrist wraps. I gave some type of wrap to them if they wanted, and then I gave out free supplements and free T-shirts, and I gave out a bunch of stuff, and it was like a big day event. It was really fun, and everybody really, really enjoyed it. And I just wanted to give back to my customers and say, hey, thank you guys so much for supporting me, everything like that. And I just had a blast, and it seemed like everybody had a blast. Everybody was requesting more, and I had talked about it, and it kind of ran through my mind. But I got the opportunity to talk to Barely Covered after the podcast last night. And I've talked to some other people, like some trainers that come to the gym. And we thought about maybe we could do like a big event. And this isn't just for the Owensville community. Anybody could come. But have it at the gym on like around my anniversary. So it'd be like the anniversary for the gym every year. But we get like, say, maybe Barely Covered out there to play music, and then I have someone in mind that does a 5K.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Every single year as a fundraiser, and I thought maybe we could have them start the fundraiser there, and it's like this big day party, So it's an anniversary for the gym. We have a band playing. You have the 5K. They do their race. They come back, and then maybe we get some local restaurants, like a local bar to give out some drinks, just beer, and then like maybe like just a local restaurant. Maybe like there's a restaurant in Snowensville that they make this like the flavored popcorn.
Right.
And everybody loves that. And I think they still do their lemonade as well. And I think like that's like a really good event
Right.
snack. And so I think like something like that. And then maybe like I know I've been involved with like the Owensville car cruise a lot.
Right.
And so I think to have them come out, maybe they could cruise, or maybe we just have like a burnout contest. We could do it in my parking lot. My parking lot's junk anyway. So like tear it up. You're not going to make it any worse.
Maybe add some, that might coat it. It might
yeah,
be your
put some
new
extra topping on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just think it could be cool to have like this big event, and then, I don't know, maybe I think Owensville needs more stuff like that.
I do too.
Get more
it is
people
a great
involved.
town full of great people, and we need to just light that spark, and whatever that means. So
Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful
Yeah,
idea.
because there's some amazing people from the Owensville community. For a small town, like it really is pretty thriving for the most part. Like when going around looking at some of these other gyms in the same size communities, and they're not even surviving at all. And then we have I have the gym in Owensville that's absolutely just thriving, and the place is full all the time. Like there's a few times where if everybody gets in there at the same time, it's pretty busy. It's
great.
pretty busy. Yeah, and it's great for me, and I love to see it. But it's because I have another business where I'm trying to put supplements in all these gyms. I want to be the guy that helps these gyms get in-house supplements for all their customers.
Right.
And I go to some of these other communities, and the gym's just dead, and it's so sad to see. And I don't know if it's a community thing, or maybe it's a business owner thing. It could just totally be a lack of financial education when maybe they went into the business wrong. Maybe they actually weren't passionate about the business.
They didn't have Jefferson Bank guiding them.
Yeah. Maybe they just need to come to Jefferson Bank, refinance, get some money back.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. But yeah, I think that's a great idea, because I think people are not desperate, but definitely enjoy some activity, something to do. So,
And now post-COVID, I think
yeah.
people are starting to finally start to get back out of their houses and be like, okay, I
Not
think
worry
it's
about
safe
it.
to go outside.
yeah.
You know?
Yes, it is. Come on out.
Yeah.
Come see us.
Come on out and play. Sure.
Bring an extra set of tires. Ryan needs a new parking lot.
Yeah, right. I think it'd be cool. I mean,
That's fun. I think
yeah,
that's...
I mean, who doesn't like burnouts? And we talked about doing like maybe like get some like low level IFBB pros, just like some professional lifters, and I don't know, just try to gather some people like that that are great for the community. I know some people maybe from some other communities too, like try to get them out, just other small businesses maybe that would come out and help support it.
We would support it.
Yeah, and I would I could care less about any of the money. Like I'd more than willing just give it all back to the community. And I'm big on the Owensville skate park, so I would love to see maybe go back to them. Because
Right.
I think that's something like Washington. They have their skate park there, and it's such a great thing for the kids in that community. And I don't skateboard. I did when I was a kid, but I drive by there, and I know a couple guys that still do it. And I've just stopped in because I texted the guy when I was in Washington just to stop by and say hi. And he's at the skate park. You can go there, and it's even at night, it's lit up with lights, and there's these kids.
Awesome.
Well, it could be any night of the week, but these guys there, they're skating and they're doing something.
Right.
It's something for them
do.
for them to do, and it's like physical, and it's not easy to skateboard. It's not anybody.
I've never tried it. I'm sure I wouldn't do well.
Yeah, anybody you watch someone step on a skateboard, and it's like they're walking for the first time, and so it's not an easy task to get out there and do it, and it's a good safe place for them to go. And it seems like they because they got a skate in it, so they make sure it stays clean. Like if there's somebody there tearing it up and trashing it, the people that are there, they're gonna be getting mad at them,
Right.
because they're like, you're tearing up our stuff. Like they look at it as their place to go.
Excellent.
Whether it's like if you're at a baseball field and somebody kept tearing it up, all the kids that play baseball are going to get mad at this person.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it'd be really good for the Owensville community. I think it could be, because a lot of people in the community, it is a smaller community, and not everybody has the means to be able to get to, like have their parents be able to get them to school.
Right.
And maybe like football, you got to pay for pads, and you got to pay for all this stuff, plus all the expenses of traveling around, and you got to pay for T-shirts. 'Cause I don't know. There's a lot to it, and you get a skateboard, you just get a skateboard and go to the skate park.
Right.
So I think
it's an easy easy thing.
Yeah, and like maybe their parents are working 12-hour shifts. You know, there's a lot of manufacturing in Owensville. And a lot of these guys and girls work 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week, 30 days a month. You know, and they're so busy that the kids are coming home. They're making themselves dinner. They're trying to find ways to entertain themselves, and you know they don't even have someone to physically take them to practice. But they want to do something.
Right.
I mean, I know everybody tries to say that like kids are lazy nowadays, but I really don't think they are. There is lazy kids, but there was lazy kids back in the day. There's kids that want to do something, but you got to give them the opportunity.
Right. You have to have some place for them to go locally, you know.
Yes. Or they'll find something to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, even me, I fell into that position where I had nothing better to do, and I just doing stupid stuff and got in trouble. And that's also part of being a kid.
Right.
But yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah, no, not anymore.
You're a business owner. You're doing great.
Yeah, I've grown out of it for the most part.
Except burnouts. I still like burnouts.
yeah. I haven't done a burnout in a long time. I only got a GTO now. I sold everything else off.
Oh, dang.
I sold a T10. I told you that, right?
No.
Yeah, I sold a T10. Yeah. Sad. It is sad, but market was hot.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of where I was at. Text him back. Let him know.
Well, I'll just tell him
Probably a boss.
There's a couple going on here, yeah.
Your boss know you took off work this morning for it?
she was really supportive. Actually wanted to listen and get your, you know, how do people listen? That's maybe, do you have a link where you can say get out there and...
So I upload everything to YouTube. So I'm on YouTube. And then what I do is I share it on my Facebook. And then just to get it out there to some people I know that might be interested in it, that might benefit some more for it. And then obviously I make it shareable so people can see it. But I also try to take clips from the podcast and I break them down. I'll put them as reels on Instagram I'll put it like as my story with like on, because Instagram, you can't share a post and put a link in it. So the only way to put a link on an Instagram, anything, is through a story. And so I just take a short clip, like 15, 20 seconds of something we talked about, and I throw it up on there with a link to that. So I get some people I can get some, just some people from Instagram, some people from Facebook, because some people only have Instagram, some people only have Facebook.
Right.
So, like some people are like, I'm too good for Facebook, or some people are like, Instagram's dumb. It's all social media.
It's all the same.
Right? I do it on TikTok too. I throw it up on TikTok, and I actually have, I never share any of my TikToks. Like I have all kinds of stuff on TikTok, just stuff that I do, just content that I make it for myself, honestly. But I share this stuff on there and just try to get it out there to the world, and always put a link into it, and always try to direct some people to it.
Love it.
Yeah. And I think that, dependent, like Barely Covered, I'm sure they'll share it with all their fans, and they'll get to listen to it. And honestly, my ultimate goal is just I would love to have anybody on. Any type, like I want to hear about anyone in business, or it doesn't even have to be business, but just having an exciting or interesting life. Like I want to get them on. I really don't even want to stick to the Owensville community. I know a lot of people from the Owensville community, and I'll bring every single person on that wants to come on. But I have some people from like Washington. I have a couple of guys from Jeff City that I know. I actually have somebody that I know that owns a corporation, and I really want to get them on because, I've told you before, I want to own a corporation one day. And so I'm really hoping I can get them to come out, sit down and talk with them, pick their brain,
right,
and just, see what happens. Yeah.
I know you'll make it.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see what happens. I believe in it.
I believe in you.
Yeah.
I think you're going to really rock it.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You bet.
What, how long have we been in this now? What time do we start? 9:30?
I'm
Probably
not sure.
About 41 minutes in.
Yeah.
What else can we...
Well, I still like to promote Jefferson Bank, so that's what I want to make sure that we're getting the word out in the community, and I think that's going to be coming. Our signs are going to be going up probably in the next couple weeks. Yeah,
and you don't have you don't have to be from the Owensville community even.
Oh no.
To work with you.
No,
because if there's any, like if you're, say, any surrounding communities, I mean, you could come from wherever, but if you're in a surrounding community and you have a banker that's not working with you, like if you go to a bank and your banker is not working with you, don't go to that bank. Like just because you walk, I know so many people that just walk in the bank and they go to the first loan officer and they try to go with them, and then they just tell me all these horror stories or all these hoops they got to jump through and how the banker's not want to work with them. You don't have to do that.
Or they don't call you back. That's a big thing.
Or they don't call you back.
Like, and again, you can reach, you know, if I'm working with you, you've got my cell phone 24/7.
Yeah.
Not that you know, if you call me at midnight, I'll be sleeping, but you know, I'll get to it as soon as I wake up. Yeah,
but it's well worth the travel to actually get a good loan officer that actually want to work for you. Because I would actually argue to say that a majority of loan officers aren't actually doing it because they want to help people. Like you're doing it because you want to help people.
I do.
And I remember a time in my life whenever, do you know where I'm going with this?
I don't know.
And I remember a time in my life, well, whenever I first started like coming to you, the only reason I came to you is because you were one of the first, my parents used you for years. And so whenever I did it, my parents were like, use Stephanie, she's really good. But I didn't understand like what it was like. I just was like, oh, go in, talk to somebody about getting a loan and that be it. And then as the years went on, you know, I kept using you because I knew you, but there was a few times where I thought maybe I should venture out and maybe use somebody else. And I had gone to a few other people and it just didn't work out. Like it was a very bad experience for me. And I definitely won't use any names, and it doesn't even matter the names, but it was just the situations, like they weren't in it for me.
Right.
And they weren't in it they just generally, they were nice to me. And I think we even made some loans happen, but yeah, they weren't calling me back. They weren't really putting in the work. They weren't really like trying to find, like there was, you know, you go in and they're like, okay, what's your credit score? Do you have the money for the down payment?
Right.
Do you have the debt to income? And they just look at them. And if you don't pass one of them, they're like, sorry, it can't happen.
Right.
You know, but that doesn't always determine if you can get approved or disapproved for a loan. And so you want someone that if you go in and tell them you really want this loan and you can prove to them that you can do it, but even if you don't fit those criteria, prove to them that you can do it. And there's a good chance you could probably make it happen, or at least the loan officer will find a way to help you. A good loan officer will find a way to work something out, pull some strings and be like, you need to do this, this, and this, and we can make it happen.
Right.
Versus the one that's just like, that looks at it and they're like, this isn't going to happen. And they tell you every reason it's not going to happen.
Right.
And that's what you don't want.
Right.
And so, and I had that problem with a few of them. And I remember because I was wanting to get approved for rental properties. I was wanting to get approved for quite a bit of money. And I was just thinking, I remember Citizens Bank was kind of like making it really difficult on us. And I was like, well, screw it. I'm going to go to a bigger bank then. And I remember I went and talked to a few banks, and I could have went to more. Maybe I could have found someone, but I went and talked to a few of them, and I really realized I was like, this isn't, you know, I ran into a lot of bad, just going and talking to them and getting the vibes off of them.
Yeah.
You know, and like I can't stand, not everyone knows what equity is, but I can't stand when you go into a bank and they don't value equity, because equity is money.
Yeah.
It is physically money. And I've had some banks tell me that my equity is not good because they were trying to make up a market 5 years, 10 years down the line. And I'm like, that's not how this works. You know, like that you can't tell me that you won't give me the money because in 10 years you think that the market will change and then the houses will go down. I'm like, because I wasn't trying to refinance my house. I was just trying to use the equity to put towards something else, just roll it directly in. And they were trying to tell me, this is a totally different bank, and they were trying to tell me that my equity was no good. And I was like, what do you mean it's no good? You know, I'm like, if I want to refinance this right now and take all my equity out, I could, or up to 80%.
Right.
You know, and so that's things that a lot of people will just...
Well, they don't work with you. You know, they want the box, the cookie cutter people. You know, they're not really looking to invest in that person. They're looking just to get a deal closed. Yeah. So
yeah, and then that person that's doing that might not even be there the next time you're doing it.
True.
How many loan officers have you seen go in and out of a bank?
Yep, several.
In your 21 years?
Several.
Yeah, you know, because people think it's great, and then it turns out they just really don't like it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of just There's a lot of paperwork. Mm-hmm. A lot of number entering.
A lot of numbers. But caring, that never changed. You know, I know Randy's like, oh, you could do whatever you want. You know, you have an opportunity to do anything. And I'm like, yeah, but I like and care for my customers. Yeah. I really do. Like, I love to see the generations, you know, like you said, I worked with your mom and dad. I get to see you. You know, I've had that for many families. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know if I'll be around for the great grandkids, you know, but I'm here, and I love the commitment that I've put in to those families, because I know
there's got to be like a rewarding.
It is, like, and
give back to yourself.
And to get to the closing table or get to that, you know, to achieve the goal, I'm just as happy as they are. You know, I had one lady purchase a property in Cuba, and her mom was there, and she took my picture with this girl that just bought the home, and she put it in her baby book. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in somebody's baby book. So I thought that was really cool. I mean, the girl was like 21. I mean, I guess it was the end of her baby book, but you know, literally. I
have you in pictures hung
right?
in a frame,
yeah,
hung up too.
Yeah.
I mean, so, that's probably not the first time.
I love being, somehow I've touched the community, and I like that.
Yeah.
So, and I know, and again,
well, that's where like
so much more to offer now.
Right. And that's where like your passion comes from, is helping people. Mm-hmm. Right. Like you actually just want to help people. And that's where like what keeps you going through it all.
Yep.
It's not the money.
Oh, no.
The money, obviously you need the money to survive.
Right.
But even if you weren't doing this, you'd be doing something to help people.
I would. I feel like that's part of my calling. My nature is to help. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's I mean, you're obviously like you're hustling, especially like last year. You were just absolutely hustling with all these things. You know, that's a whole like hustle through the whole process to be able to get everyone approved. And you know, there's been times where you know you're calling me and texting me, and you're like, I'm sending all these emails over. You got to get them filled out so we can get them back, so we can you know, because it was a house I had. Remember, I had bought a house and I flipped it.
Yes.
And we had it up for sale, and I had sent the people that were buying it to you to buy it, and I was wanting to sell it by before January 1st, so I could write it off in that tax year. and I remember like we were just having to gather so much stuff, and I was doing work also for helping these people just to be able to get stuff to them to be able to speed up the process, because we were supposed to close like the day before Christmas or 2 days before or after. And it ended up, I think we closed on December 28th.
I think
like,
we did, yeah.
We couldn't get much closer. You know, and so like that's like, yeah, you know, but that's also part of the fun and like, just like the whole like
the pressure. The pressure is good. You know, I work better under pressure sometimes.
Yeah. So, yeah. Bring it all on.
That's my physical workout.
Sure.
It's mental. It's mental.
Yeah. I had a question. I'm trying to remember what I was going to ask you now. Oh, you know, like what we definitely talked plenty about like the banking system and like where you work and how some of how it works. But I actually I always like to hear people's backstory. And I don't think we've ever talked about like early on days, because you weren't always in banking, right? Mm-mm. Your original career was in the dental industry, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then how long did you do that?
12 years.
You did that for 12 years.
Yeah, same place. I've had 3 jobs now in my whole life, but two careers. So one was dental, and the other is banking.
And so what made you switch from dental to banking?
Oh, long story. So at the time,
good story or bad story? We don't have to talk about it if you don't want.
Well, it was, no, we needed insurance. And the dental, of course, gave you, you know, a break on your dental work, but there was a lot of things that I needed to further my financial health, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
So,
well, you're probably in your physical health too.
Yeah. Yes. So I did the dental for 12 years and then left because of insurance, and I needed some type of
at this point you have 3 kids.
Oh yeah, 3 kids.
Yeah.
And taking care of them pretty much by myself. So I needed to make a change to, you know, again, insurance, and then kind of have my...
Because they were young too. So
Oh, yeah.
at any given second, you don't know if they're going to get sick or they're going to get hurt or whatever.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I had seen a sign at a gym. This was before you even had a gym.
Yeah.
But they had a board which you walked in and people could write. It's like a whiteboard. You could write quotes or inspiration or whatever. And I saw this one quote, and it was like one of those.
Do you remember what gym it was?
Yes.
I don't know why it matters.
Yes.
Does it matter?
Not to me.
Let's hear it.
It was Anytime Fitness in Washington.
Oh, okay. I wonder if they're still there. Where was it at?
It was kind of by the
Where is it? Is it the one? Damn,
where the
Rachel owns it. Is it the one that's in the little shopping center next to Goodwill?
Yes.
That one. Mm-hmm. That's been there that long.
It's been there a while. Yeah.
I would 21 years apparently.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, because you were going from holy cow.
So I went there.
I hope Maggie listens to this, or not Maggie. Rachel listens to this.
So I'd seen that on the board that it said "Build your own house," and for some reason, whether that was my light bulb moment, it was like, okay, you can't rely on anybody but yourself. I mean, and you have support, you have family, you have parents, and I have great parents, and I couldn't have survived half of my life with what I've gone through without them. So big shout out to mom and dad. But build your own house. And that just means you have to rely upon yourself. Get the skills you need to
Nobody's
survive.
going to do it for you but you.
Yep. And I feel like, my big thing is a hand up, not a handout. So I have had tons of different types of customers over the year and love every one of them. But some of my best rewarding are those who never thought they could be a homeowner. They've been through a struggle in life that, life just knocked them down. And I like to help them up. Mm-hmm. And that's my biggest blessing, I guess, if you will, in life, is to help people up or help them to the next level. Were you doing that
before you got in banking?
Probably not. Because being in dental, it didn't really affect people the same way. I was really supportive and had. Sorry
to cut you off, but did you choose dental because it was something you thought you actually would be passionate about, or did you choose dental because it was like, I don't know how to say this like the right way, but was it almost like a cliche, like this is a woman job, and this is something that I think I could do, and you just went into it because you thought it was right, but not really something you were actually like passionately pulled to?
That's exactly what it was. Out of high school, what are you going to do? Nobody knows, what to. And so what's even kind of more funny is that the reason I got into it is because I graduated. I left high school because back in the day, if you had enough credits, you could leave or get out of school, but you had to go on to college. Mm. So my parents moved. So
you graduated early.
I did. I left like 3 weeks into my senior year.
Wow.
I know. So I didn't get to experience the whole senior year fun stuff because
you missed nothing.
That's what I've heard. But so what happened is that, I've been in the Drake, Swiss area growing up. My parents moved to Washington, what would have been my senior year. And I'm like, can I drive? And like, absolutely not. What? No. Because back in the day, the kids, you didn't drive because they said you can go to Washington High School. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to. And so we kind of put our heads together, and I talked to the high school principal.
You wanted to drive from Washington to Owensville.
Well, no, I wanted to drive from Washington to Herman High School because that's where I went to school.
Oh, you were going to Herman.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's a little bit better. I didn't know you went to Herman High School.
Yeah, I sure did. We were on the line. My parents had a choice of Herman or Owensville. Mm-hmm. It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
And we didn't know any better, so we picked Herman.
Oh, Herman's not a bad school.
Yeah. So they said no. And so what happened is that I just left. They actually allowed me to leave. I wasn't kicked out, but I had enough credits and all my classes were finished. And they said, okay, you can go on to college. So instead of my senior year of high school, I went to college.
That's awesome.
And that's where the dental field came in, because it was like, there was limited choices at that moment of what I needed to go into. So it was kind of just the thing I went to.
Where was the dental school at?
East Central.
East Central had a program then. And then, so you just went to that, was it probably like a year or so?
It was 2 years, and then you had to do intern.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. And so then you did that for 12 years, and then you just seen a sign in a gym, and that's what
that's the thing that, so I had my boss who hired me at Citizens, she knew my family and so she asked me to come over, and I did, and it was a great move.
Before or after you seen the sign?
Before. I needed the change for the insurance for the kids and so forth, but I was in that.
As you're working in the dentist industry, or the dental industry, you had to start thinking like, this isn't for me. I actually need some more benefits, some other changes, and so then you end up going to
banking.
Well, you end up going to your parents' friends that worked at Citizens.
They contacted me to say, "Come on."
I just wanted to get it.
Yeah, so I was at the dental office, and she called me, and she's like, "Hey, here you need some, you need a job with benefits and, some of the things that, most parents need." And I said, "Yeah, I would love to come over." And so I did, and that's how I started. And I grew through the whole chain of, I didn't start off as a lender. I started off as a secretary. And then I knew the meats and potatoes of how a loan and what it is needed. And I actually was managing the Citizens Bank when I left, and a lender.
When you left Citizens?
When I left Citizens.
Yeah, I remember that. So how long did it take before? Because you probably didn't imagine that you were going to be a lender one day.
No.
When you started, you didn't think you were going to be where you are now.
Well,
because whenever I look at you, I look at you as like top of the mountain. like whenever I think about when I was walking in Citizens Bank, that I was like, there's nobody above Stephanie.
Yeah.
At least, and not to think down on anybody else, but like I just like if I needed something, I go to Stephanie.
Right.
That's what it finally got to.
And that was probably self-driven too. Like
you were definitely a pillar.
I thank you. I definitely I saw where that could take you, and how that position and the position I have now, how I can even reach more people. And I think it goes back to I want to help you build your house, literally and figuratively. I want you to succeed in life, and I want you to have what you need. And I feel like doing what I do can actually help people do that. And again, I go back to my one.
So did you start to realize that, like in the secretary style, like when you're before the lender, you were like, could you see that?
I could.
Where you're like, I could help these people. I could be the one actually helping.
I think that's where that drive came from, is because it's kind of like a wow, wow, you really impact somebody. You really make a difference. And it's so rewarding. And I love that. I love being able to make something happen for you, because that makes my light shine a little brighter inside. So I really
that's the rewarding part of it.
Oh, it is great. And that's why I think I work so hard to like look deeper, at a file. Well, why? What happened? Maybe your score got dinged. Oh, it was it was a holiday. Well, that shouldn't count against you in life. So then if you take it back to, my upper management now is a great, great team. I love where I work. And you can go back and you can say, hey, look, that was holiday. Look, it actually
it was supposed to come out.
It
just
looks
the way that
seriously
the banking system fell too.
You're not really just a number. You're not just a piece of paper crossing the desk. You're a human that, a bank holiday messed up your score, and you can see it. And, we could look back at your bank records and, saw it came out the next day. Yeah, that makes sense. So.
Yeah, I remember sending that guy to you that he was wanting to buy a house, and he knew his credit was messed up. And I just called you, and I was like, hey, I got this guy. He's freaking super hard worker. Definitely straightened his life out. Definitely went through some hard times in his life. But his credit's screwed up. what can he do? And that's when you told me about the rehab program or whatever it's wanted to be called. And how, you guys it was a soft pull on his credit, but you guys could figure out, hey, what needs to be fixed. And you guys were able to see that. And you did that absolutely for all free, right?
Yeah.
Like there was, you never got to sell out of a house out of it. You never got no extra pay out of it, nothing.
Nope.
And I know for sure this guy took that information that he got from you, went through, paid that stuff off. Cause now he actually had I think he knew, but he had a few things that had accumulated that messed him up, I'm pretty sure. And then he was able to go back through and start paying that stuff off.
Right.
And now I think if he gets a loan, I think he'll eventually come back to you because you helped him out. I know that with the market being up, he's just like, I'm just going to keep renting. I know he rents, but I think when the day comes when he's ready to buy a house, he knows now that he fixed his credit, and he knows that Stephanie was the one that helped him out. And I think, he'll
come on over.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the great stories. I love to hear that. And I think maybe too, being a teacher that might've been another calling that I like to teach
helping
people.
Someone is a calling.
Yeah.
With whatever field it was. And I love helping people too. That's why I do what I do. And I, even starting my own business, I wanted to start my own business because I had a lot of dickhead bosses. Every body shop, every manufacturer. I've had so many jobs people don't even understand. But almost probably 9 out of 10 times, the boss was a dick. And he'd belittle you and talk down to you. And I hated it. And it's not that I hate working for somebody else or hate being told what to do. I can work with other people and do just fine. But I can't stand working for that jerk that's just mean to me every day. I'm like, this is my life, and I'm coming here and I'm giving you 8 to 12 hours of my day every single day, 40 hours a week. A majority of my life I'm giving to you, and you're underpaying me. Almost everybody's underpaid. And then you're gonna be a jerk to me. So I was like, I want to start my own thing. And I didn't have to deal with those people. And then I wanted to be able to employ people and be able to help them and be able to give them a good positive experience from it.
Yep.
So and that's why I help people there. I think helping people is amazing.
I know. It's such a rewarding thing. It really is. And especially when you get a result. Is it
selfish though, in a way?
I hope not. I hope it's not, because
I don't do it. I do it and I don't do it for myself. Because it is a rewarding thing. And I love helping people, but it also makes me feel good.
Right.
So
is it selfish?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you really doing it for yourself? Or are you really doing it for somebody else? I think it's 50-50.
That's a great statement.
I've thought about it so many times.
Yeah, it's probably 50-50, but I think it's more, maybe it's 60-40, because really it is so cool to watch those people literally shake, I can't believe I'm getting my house. I can't believe I got the car. I can't believe I got whatever. You can't beat that excitement. You can't beat that, even personally. That's to watch them be so, you put any adjective you want, relieved, excited, happy. You're helping somebody in their life
achieve a massive goal.
Yeah.
Most of the time when people are coming to you, they're achieving a massive goal in their life.
And that's the thing. We talked about education of, learning, and people typically, people don't buy houses except maybe sometimes once in their life, maybe, maybe 2 or 3. So it's, unless you're turning or flipping homes, you don't know the whole process. So education and learning how to do it and what to do. And, it doesn't have to be horrible. I always joke that, you've heard in the past, fell apart at the closing table. That will never happen with me. Any problems that could have arose during that loan process are handled on the front end. You never fall apart at the table. Never.
Yeah.
I never say never, but you shouldn't. There's no reason.
The probability
I've done something wrong. Low. Yeah. It's bigger than it's bigger than something if it's
The house just falling in the day of.
right. Yeah, or the seller side, but it's not going to be me with Jefferson Bank, not at all.
Right. Right. Well, what do you think? We've probably been in this for an hour and some now.
Yeah.
So you want to wrap it up here?
Yeah, that'd be.
You think we got a good amount of?
I hope so. Maybe some usable
covered.
material out of that.
Yeah, you know,
We'll edit it down to 5 minutes.
No, it'll be much longer than that. But
Oh, look, she didn't say anything worthy.
I think it was great. I loved it, and like I even learned a little bit in here, and then I would love maybe even like sometime in the future maybe we can come on because I like to be able to introduce people so that they kind of get to know who you are, and then maybe like sometime in the future we have you back on and we get to talk more in depth on like different types of loans.
Oh yeah.
And like maybe we get some feedback on some people that they want to know some stuff, and maybe
Exactly.
we can talk
I
about
will
that
do
kind
that.
of stuff as well.
Yep. That was my whole purpose today, is to have this podcast reach out to say, what do you want? What do you want from me? I can do it.
What can we do to service you?
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, good.
Some of these banks are a little too comfortable sitting around, like whatever town you're in. Some of these banks are just way too comfortable, and they think, well, we're here and we're established, so we're going to get your business anyway. And that's not right. You know, that's not right. And you come to work hungry every single day. Like you want to help people. You want to be able to get these loans. You want to get stuff closed.
Right.
You want to make stuff happen. And these other banks, if you're going in and they're not giving you the time of day, turn around and walk back out.
Yep.
And
Agreed.
go to someone like you at Jefferson Bank that wants to help and is going to help you. You know, that's just bottom line. Like, I think that's...
Let me build your house, right?
Yeah.
Let me help you build your house.
Absolutely. Well, cool. So we'll wrap it up there, and thank
Okay.
you so much for coming on. Honestly, completely honored that you even came on. Like, I'm so glad to have you on, for sure.
My pleasure.
I think it was awesome, and I'm excited to get it live and see what everybody else thinks of it, and then
Okay.
you know, maybe we can plan something else for the future.
Okay. Good.
Cool.
Go Jefferson Bank.
Yes, jeffersonbank.com, and then anything else, like no need to plug an email. Like the email, they can find your email on there if they're looking for you. Or
Yes.
just go to Jefferson Bank, find
Yep.
Stephanie Blaske on there.
Yep.
Hit you up, give you a call. Your phone number on there as well.
It is.
Perfect. And then when are you guys expecting the Owensville location to actually be open?
I would say it's getting painted this week. We're going to put furniture in there, and I'm going to get in there. So I would say in the next 2 weeks for sure.
So because I don't think I'll be able to edit this until, because we're doing this Friday.
Yep,
And so
29.
I have one video I did, like I said last night, with Barely Covered. So I'm going to get that uploaded tonight, and then it'll be next week. So it'll probably be mid-August, like beginning of August before it actually
Perfect.
gets uploaded.
Yep, that'd
so
be about the time we're...
yeah, if you guys are listening, they might already be open. So
Look for the
just
sign.
coming down to the wire right now, right?
Yep, we are just that close.
And you guys are going to have a big sign out front,
Yes.
like a...
It's where the ice cream shop was, where their sign is. It's going to say Jefferson Bank.
The fence going to stay?
Fence is going to stay.
And you guys aren't doing no construction?
Not really.
No, real taking fences down?
No,
moving stuff
because
out?
we want to use those patios for entertainment, lunch and learns, anything you want to, for just adult beverages or sodas or, just to have people come. We're open.
Customer appreciation would be cool to have.
There you go.
Like once a year, just, anyone that's bought a loan to something
Sure.
like that, just have people out, have drinks, whatever. That'd be cool.
Celebrate the community.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure
Okay.
to like and subscribe. I
Yep.
never tell anybody that, but
Yay.
wrap it up.
Thanks.
Cool.
Bye.